Hey everybody, it's Jenny. Welcome back. So today's topic is self care. Now, please don't run away when I say that because I don't mean, you know, um, maybe the very narrow definition of self care. That if you're like me, like when I hear that word, I think of like fluffy, like go out into a field and like clear your mind and sit and meditate. Okay, that's great, but like that's not an option for me. So, and first, I just want to preface this, just a little annotation here. Um, I do this alone. So when I'm talking about this, I guess the title should be, um, how, like ways to self care when you have no help, you have no supports, right? That maybe that's what I'll call it, because I know this will hit a very specific audience. Some of you guys are not single people. Some of you have tons of help. That's great. I just mean, for me, these are just over the years ways that I've found to like sneak in some self care time, some like me time, when I don't have a husband or a wife or a spouse or anyone, physically in the home to be like, hey, can you hang out with him so I can go do this? Um, all my family are away. Like they're on the complete opposite side of our country. So I live here in, Southern California, and well, in the Los Angeles area, and all my family they're all like east of, Louisiana, like they're all that side. And so, they are states and states and states and states away. So when I'm talking about this, it will kind of have more of that lean to it. Like it'll have more of a, these are ways you can kind of sneak in self-care when you don't have anybody around, you have no help. If that's not you, like, okay, great, like I get it. So catch you on the next episode. But there are some really good things in here. So like, even if you do have some help, maybe stick around because there's some really good, at least I think, I guess I'm putting that out there. But yeah, I think there's some really good points in here. Some good stuff that I've picked up along the way. So maybe hang out, listen for a while. The very first thing that I want to start with is gratitude though. I really do want to just say thank you. Like I'm so grateful. I'm not going to cry this episode, I promise. um, but I understand how life can be very just crazy, hectic, busy, especially with everything going on right now. We are in the midst of a pandemic. I get it. Like, so I just want to be gracious and grateful and just put it out there. My big, huge thank you for you guys taking time from your life to sit here with me, to like listen to what I have to say and give me an opportunity to empty my brain, really, and hopefully help somebody along the way. But honestly, y'all are helping me more than you'll ever know. So I'm so grateful for this little community, little corner of the world that I've carved out for us. And so, yeah, thank you for just being part of it. So I just wanted to put my gratitude out there. All right, let's dive in. Now, ways that I self-care when I have no help and I don't have any real support. The very first thing I do is I have to check in with myself because I am not, how can I, God, actually, I don't know if I want to say this out loud. Okay. Y'all know I'm very open here, so it's fine. All right, it's a judgment-free zone though, y'all. Keep that in mind. I'm not a touchy-feely person, okay? And yes, shout out to my friends who are listening because I know y'all are laughing right now. You're like, yeah, she's not. I know I'm from the South, like Southern hospitality, all that. So yeah, growing up, yeah, sure. Like everybody you meet, you shake their hand, hug them, say hi, okay. But deep down, no. I'm good. I like my physical distance, and it's funny because I live in this crazy state where we're slam packed on top of each other all the time. So it's like always crowded. But, I am not that person, I don't need that like constant, I'm always like, okay, cool. Like, all right, I said hi, I hugged you. Like, that's enough. But this is how I know, like, the universe has a sense of humor, truly, because, whoever's in charge of this, whatever thing, energy, deity, whatever, that's like in charge of this has a sense of humor. Because me being the like, no, I'm good. I'll just say hi from across the room. Like, I don't need you to be right in my physical space. Was given this kid who cannot Like, he physically, I mean, I just have to laugh. I have to just laugh. He physically cannot control himself. If he's sitting within arm's reach of me, he has to touch me. If it's a foot, a toe, a hand, putting his finger on my shoulder, like touching my hair, he just, he, he's such a like little cuddle love bug. I mean, all the time, guys. It's so funny now. But me being who I am, and trust me, I find it terribly endearing. I think it is so syrupy, sweet, and adorable. But I am who I am. You know, at my core, that much physical touch and that much kind of constant touching is like, it's wearing. Okay, I mean, please hold your judgment, y'all. Okay, because it doesn't mean I don't love him. It's not that. Like, that's not what I'm saying. So don't take this out of context. But again, I don't have any help here. Okay, so it's just me. So my kid is awake sometimes 16 hours in a day, you know, sometimes 18 hours in a day. Like, he's not a great sleeper. So if he's awake and he's, like I said, physically, if he could touch me, he is, no matter what. If I am driving, taking a shower, trying to go to the bathroom, cooking dinner, like, he's just clung to me. Like, I tease and be like, I have a Velcro child, like, no joke. And some of y'all might too, like, special needs or not. I mean, there are Velcro children out there that are just like they are just stuck to you. And again, it's very sweet. It's very, very like, I mean, it's endearing. Like, I understand it, but I am who I am. You know, I don't need that. I don't particularly like it. I'm not a big fan and I don't require it, but he does. So I do give him as much like physical, you know, I guess like touch or hugs or whatever, but it's exhausting, y'all. Like, oh my God, I gotta be honest. It is so draining for me to be constantly touched. Like, I wish I could describe it to y'all, but I feel like I've run a marathon at the end of the day because I have been touched, squeezed, poked, grabbed, pulled on, clung to, you know, whether it's, and it is ever my hair, my face, my legs, my arms, my stomach, my side, you know, my chin, he touches my ears, he wants to touch my teeth. It's just, oh my God. And I am a naturally anxious person. Like, I've had anxiety for most of my, well, I know all of my adult life, but thinking back, I'm pretty sure I've had it the entirety of my existence. So if you guys struggle with that, or you know anyone who is sort of on the anxious end of the world, you know, in our minds, it's tiring. It's real hard for us. Like, oof, we're good for like an hour or two. We're like, okay, like, we have like a certain amount that we just, and then after that, we're like, yep, I'm good. I'm gonna need some physical space. Oh man, I need to put a big break here so I can just regroup, and then you can cling to me again. Now, if you don't struggle with that, that's great. Again, please though, keep your judgment. That's not what this is about. So most of the time when I think about self-care, just because of my situation is that I don't have somebody I can just be like, hey, watch him for 5 minutes because I need to like have a break. I just don't have that. Like, that's not built into my scenario, okay? And so I feel like a lot of parents are in this situation, even if they are like married or have a partner, domestic, like whatever, or have family, next door neighbors, because, you know, it's COVID. Like, we are in a pandemic. So whereas you might be able to, you know, have a neighbor, have a mom, dad, husband, wife, you know, girlfriend, whatever, like, help out, it's a different time right now. You know, that just might not be an option between lockdown, quarantines, all this, like, yeah. So oftentimes whenever I know I need some self-care, I immediately check in with myself. So that is the biggest like tip I can give you, is just to check in. Sometimes it might be, okay, I'm going to need some physical space. Sometimes it is, I just need to talk to a friend. Sometimes it's, I just want to take a long shower. Whatever it is, but like, just don't get boxed into this idea of like, quote, self-care, end quote. It, that looks like a lot of things, y'all. And I was boxed in by it too. I mean, years ago, I thought, like I said, it's, the pediatrician, the doctor, whoever's being like, make sure you take time for yourself. Okay, yeah, but when I thought of self-care, I didn't think of, okay, self-care could literally just be sitting alone. That could be self-care. That's it. Just nothing special. Just sit by yourself. Or it could be, run 10 miles. Like, whatever is your thing, that's your thing. And don't let anyone tell you different. Your self-care could be writing in your journal, or it could be taking a boxing class, like whatever it is. But self-care to you is what it is in that moment. And don't be scared to be like, nope, I don't need that today. I need this. So what do you do when you don't have a person? You don't have a support group or tons of friends or, a neighbor or anyone who can come help. Currently, right now, I am without a sitter. My neighbors have moved. I've got there's probably 2 people I could think of that could like definitely help me out and like keep my son. One of them has a medically sensitive child, so there is that fear of, having a respiratory thing like COVID, affect her child, and so that's out. So the other person, works a lot and doesn't have a lot of free time, so it's just really me. So what I like to do is give y'all kind of some examples of what I like to do that have helped me so far. Now, this is going to vary depending on obviously your scenario, but I'm just going to throw out what I use. So when my son was younger, I would put him in the bath or put him in the shower, whatever it is, and then I would step just outside of the door where I can still sort of look in with my eyes, but he couldn't physically like reach out and touch me, just again to get that physical distance of like, okay, I don't want to be pulled on, touched, grabbed, anything like that. And even if it was like for 1 minute, I could still see him. Obviously, I'm not saying leave your child in the bathtub. I'm saying the same thing would happen like if you have little ones, when you put them in the high chair, they're fine. Secure them, make sure they're safe. If you want to step around the corner so you can still see them, but they are like, there's enough of that distance, I would do that too. Just have a break of like, okay. And especially my moms and dads who have little ones, especially if you're nursing, if you are bottle feeding, whatever it is, and you have that really, really young child, you're constantly touching, you're constantly kind of needed and like being pulled on and all that. So, the other thing that I would do is, if and when he had like therapy appointments or he had ABA or, he had speech therapy, whatever it was, I would ask them, like, hey, do you mind if I just step outside the door? Like, or hey, I'm going to go run to the restroom really quick. Again, just little short, tiny little breaks like that, like saved my life. They literally like kept my sanity. The other thing that I really found helpful was I figured out that, and I think I'm still trying to do my research on this, but so far I've found that there are 31 states in the U.S. that currently have some type of either state or federal respite program. And, again, it's going to change depending on your state, whatever. I will put some links if you guys are on my website. If you're listening to this, go follow one of my socials. I'll make sure to put all of this because there are a lot of websites and stuff too. But yeah, finding a respite, provider if you maybe don't have the finances to do it or whatever that is, whatever that looks like for you. There are state and federal programs that will help you pay for it. But the other thing that I found was, honestly, like I said, just even like I put him to bed, a half an hour early, and like he's in his room, he's safe, he can't hurt himself, he can't escape because I'm right outside the door. But just having that time, just taking that little 1 minute breather, just a 5 minute breather, something, just any kind of break there, really, really, really helped me. So, but now, if your self-care doesn't look like that and that's not what you need, then of course don't do that. If your self-care is, I need to go to the gym, I need to get out of this house, I need to take a walk, whatever it is. Now, for that, you're obviously going to need someone to come and sit and physically be with your child. Now, there are lots of ways to find these people. Obviously, friends and family, again, but for me, that's just not an option. I understand, right now, again, because of what's going on in the world, having people in your home is sometimes not an option. But you can also have them meet you at a park, meet you outside. I have a backyard. I'm very fortunate. Have someone watch them in the backyard, out open space, so it's a little safer. You feel a little better about it. Also, the other thing that outside of like a respite program, obviously state and federal, I think it's 31, it might be 36 states that have something in place currently. But also, I just read that, I can't remember what month it happened, but it's been very recent, is that the federal government, they put into place something called the Lifespan Respite Care Act, I think is what it's called. And so basically what it did is it took, I think there are 11 states that were kind of like lacking in the funding, and they give $2.5 million a year through 2024 to these like 11 states to kind of like pump up and like jazz up their state level respite system. And so there's obviously that. I know that there are a couple of like websites and like places you can go online to kind of find a caregiver. Like I said, if that's financially, if that's an option for you. For some people it's not. Like I know for me it was not an option. And so the other thing is to check into if you are in a state that has regional centers. Regional centers is another really good resource for respite care. Obviously they're not going to give you, hundreds of hours a month, but I mean, even if it's 20 hours a month, that's 20 hours. That's 20 hours that you can have to yourself. If you do 4 weeks a month, that's 5 hours a week, so that's, going to the gym twice, because you got to take in travel time, obviously drive to the gym, drive home, or, that's 2.5 hours 2 times a week for every week of the month, and it's free. Now, the other, I can hear it. I know, I know what's coming next. Well, how do I find a good provider? How do I find someone to watch? I get it. I promise I do. Now, the beauty of these respite programs is that most of them, now again, check your own state, check your own, kind of municipality if you're in outside of the U.S., but, check with your government. Most of them have an option where if you do have a family friend or a family member, someone that you trust, maybe it's a ABA therapist that's worked with your child, maybe it's a speech therapy assistant that has worked with your kid, maybe it's one of the classroom aides that really gets on with your child. A lot of times what they will do is they will allow you to bring in your own worker. So if you have someone that you trust, a lot of times, because there's so few hours, you can tell them like, hey, it's just a little extra money. It's not going to be much, but I could really, really use the help. And oftentimes you can bring your own staff. Now, some agencies won't allow that, and that's, again, you just have to check with your own local agencies. But to find workers, this is the other, like, big hot take. Now, I never thought of this because I was like, wait, really? So I am fortunate. Again, I live in Southern California, so there is a huge state school program here, the CSU, so California State Universities. I don't know how many are. Oh my God, there's probably 30. I don't know. There's one it seems in every large city around here. But a lot of them, if they offer child development degrees, child psychology degrees, early education degrees, so people who are going to go into early education teaching, so kindergarten teachers, elementary school teachers, middle school teachers. All of these students, they need hands-on hours. They need that experience. And so here, there's a big California State University that's in one of the cities here, and they have a giant child development center is what it's called. And so maybe kind of do a Google search on that for any large universities that are nearby. But oftentimes too, the 2-year schools, junior colleges, 2-year universities, or 2-year schools, I guess they're not a university, they will also have a lot of times, people who are going into, like I said, child development or child care, or they want to go into, medicine, they want to go into nursing, like anything like that where they're going to need to have those hands-on hours, and they're going to need to have that experience. But also those are going to be the people who naturally have an inclination to help kids, help people, help their patients, teach children, mold children, that kind of thing. So think about those as options as well. And a lot of times if you go to the, like I said, early education department or whatever it is, you can, go to that department head or that department at the university and explain to them like, hey, I've got a special needs child. I really would like to find someone to help me out, maybe 10 or 20 hours a month. And, I'm looking for someone who is, has, like I said, kind of a natural inclination or a natural, draw to children, to helping children, working with children. And oftentimes, if they don't have someone in mind, they will at least let you put out, a flyer, or they'll give you, maybe they have a job site where you can post it. Now, again, I never thought of this, but I have found amazing people to work with Jack and to help me with Jack through, like I said, just looking at these young kids who want the experience. They want to, help. That's what they want to do with their life. It's the chosen career. So why not? That's the perfect pool from which to pull from. The other thing was, what am I trying to, I think it's called Nextdoor. Anyway, it's neighborhood websites. So Nextdoor, I don't know if it's nationwide or not. Sorry guys, I guess I should have done better research on Nextdoor. But they have like online groups for like your specific neighborhood. And so again, like oftentimes maybe there's a college kid in your neighborhood. They're living at home, going to school. Maybe there's a high school kid who is, they're a senior and they're not sure what they want to do, or they babysat for other people in the neighborhood, whatever it is. And you can, ask them, hey, do you think you can come and sit with my child for an hour, for 45 minutes? Maybe build up. Start with 15 minutes, and just, again, have them go in the other room and you're still in the home. So you're right there if something happens, but, they can develop a rapport with this person. And I know it's scary. I know, guys, I'm not blind here. Like I'm not, this is not rose-colored glasses. I understand that this is a difficult process. Finding someone you trust is, think about trying to find someone to marry, someone to date, someone to, trust your money with, trust your kids, trust your life. It's like, these are scary things. These are difficult things to find. But you also have to please keep in mind, these are precious things. These are things that matter to us. These are things that are important to us. They're irreplaceable. They're kids. So, putting in the effort, putting in the time, putting in, really looking into getting some help, some backup, someone who has a rapport with your child, someone they feel safe with, it's worth it. It just is. Like, I know that it's difficult, it's scary, but it's absolutely necessary because no one is an island. No one can do it on their own. Trust me, I had the superwoman complex for most of my life, where I was like, I can do it. I don't need anybody. I got this. Yeah, no. All that did was put my anxiety through the roof and put me into a massive depression and make me just like the most unhealthy, mentally that I've ever been in my life. So, I think that, for me, those are the biggies. Obviously, there's, Facebook groups, obviously, I hate to plug Facebook on here because, they're not the greatest, but, it is what it is, and it does serve a purpose for us, if you use it correctly. There are obviously parenting groups. There are also within your regional center, if you're in a state with a regional center, they can do what's called a waiver program. And if you have kids who are a little bit younger or older, it's just a little more difficult, to navigate this as they get older. But, look into their waiver programs, Medicare, Medicaid waivers, Medi-Cal waivers, I guess, if you're in California. But there are waiver programs, and that can open up, a lot of resources for you as well. So, but yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is, like I said, just check in with yourself, check in to see, like, what does self-care look like. So for me today, just sitting here right now, I know that for me today, self-care would look like the ability to go work out. I don't mean like pump and iron in the gym. Like, I just mean something physical where I can move my body, because I understand that with my specific type of anxiety and my specific PTSD and my specific mental health struggles, I need constant movement. I have to constantly be active and moving because it helps to calm that itchy, jumpy feeling inside of me that my anxiety gives me. But now, yesterday, my self-care was to sit outside while my son was on the swing in our backyard and just sit, not do anything, not have my phone. I even turned it off. I just didn't want to hear it ring because I was on the phone so much yesterday with, does he go back to school? Does he go to in-person? Do we stay out? Do we vaccine? I just needed, something very different yesterday. And that's okay, because self-care is what it needs to be for you. And again, I understand it's not easy. It's not easy to find the time. It's not easy to find the worker. It's not easy to carve out the energy to even find someone to help. I promise. I get it. I do. But none of us are able to do this alone. Okay? And I'm here. I've had plenty of you reach out. I love every single conversation I've had with y'all. I'm so thrilled that I could help some of you, whether it's talking about in-home supportive services or, Social Security disability or finding workers or whatever it is. I'm here. So you're never totally alone. Just know that. I'm not physically there with you, but I am there 100%. If you reach out, I'm there. I will do everything in my power. I'll take all of my over 12 years of special needs experience and families and resources and contacts and everything and see what I can do for you, because I know how hard this is. Being a parent is hard, period. But being a parent right now in this pandemic, this nightmare, it magnifies things. There's a lot more stress going on, and I want you guys to know that, there are ways to do it and not completely lose your sanity like I did years ago. So just check in with yourself. Please know that you're not alone. I know that sounds cheesy and canned and very trite, but it's true. I fully understand that feeling, though. There were many, many, many times, many days, many nights, tear-filled, ugly cry, big ugly tears, not, just crying your eyes out, of me feeling like I had no one. There's no one to turn to, no one to talk to. I can't do this alone. What am I going to do? I'm just working myself into, a mental frenzy. And, all the while, I was surrounded by help. I just didn't know how to start. I didn't know how to get where I wanted to go. But there are a lot of things out there for all of us, not just special need families. There are a lot of things out there. We're very fortunate in this day and age that, we do have a lot of availability for things. Now, it needs to get better. I'm not saying it's perfect. So I'm going to link a couple of websites for state respite. There's a state-by-state sort of directory you can get on caregiver.org. And that's the Family Caregiver Alliance website. And so they do have a navigation at the at the top, where you can look state by state, to see what is available in your state. Again, please reach out to, if you do have a regional center in your state, please reach out to them. Usually the Department of Family and Children's Services. I know ours is like dpss.ca.gov or something like that, but it's your state's Department of Child and Family Services. Reach out to them, and they can also give you a lot of resources as well. But again, think outside the box sometimes. Like I had to, I went down to the local college and was like, hey, do you got any students that really stand out to you? Because I've got these 20 hours of respite care and I really want to use them, and God, I need somebody to help me with my son. And I found, and one of them eventually became an ABA and worked with my son later in his journey, and was one of his ABA therapists. So, there are definitely ways to find really good, staff out there. I just don't want you guys to feel like you're alone. Okay, self-care really does matter. Again, I know it sounds cheesy, but it's 100% true. Find little ways to carve out time for yourself, even if you don't have respite, you don't have somebody. I remember those days too. And like I said, if it was, put him to bed a half hour early, if it was, making sure he was safe in the bathtub or in his room, and just walk outside and close the door outside the hallway, not outside the home. Just finding ways to take little breaks like that. If I'm making dinner and he's happy in front of the TV, maybe I pull out my phone and, have a 5-minute conversation with a friend, or, log on and social media if that's your thing, whatever it is. But just, finding those little tiny breaks. I know it may not feel like it in the moment, but it does help. Any self-care you can give yourself is a move in the right direction. So thank you again so much for listening. I'm going to post links to the Respite resources and caregiver.org. Also, like I said, they have a state-by-state directory, and then I'll also link in how to find out if you have a regional center in your state, and some of the other resources that I use. So I will link those in. If you guys don't follow me, you don't have to follow. This is not like please do, but if you don't follow me, just please look up the Autism Space. I'm going to link those into, like I said, all of my social, but it should be on my website as well. So hopefully you guys have taken something out of this. Again, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for letting me have this time, and just to talk to y'all, because I really do enjoy it. This is my self-care sometimes, honestly, just making these episodes for y'all. Light, love, positivity to everybody. Please go and have a fantastic day, and I will talk to you very soon.